Get ready for the spectacle, folks. On April the 22nd this month, right in front of the Mount of Olives in Jerusalem, Al-Quds, brace yourselves for the burning of those special Texan cows. And who's behind this circus act? None other than those fanatic Zionists dreaming of a third temple, thinking they can summon the Messiah with a bonfire. And guess who's cheering them on? Yep, you've guessed it. Those evangelical doomsday cheerleaders from the US, eager to fast-track us to Armageddon. So there's this bizarre Old Testament tale about these red cows that never had calves. Even King Solomon, the wisest guy around, scratched his head over it. According to the book of Numbers, God tells Moses to gather the perfect red heifers and roast them, then mix their ashes with water for some spiritual purification ritual. Yep, you heard that right. Ashes and water for a spiritual scrub down. It mentions a conversation between God and Moses, who at that time was leading the Israelites to the promised land. And God said, "Say to the children of Israel, let them bring you a red heifer without blemish, without blemish, without blemish, without a yoke." In 70 BC, Jerusalem's second temple was destroyed by Roman soldiers, and there has been no more sacrifice since. However, the Zionist Mishnah, which forms a part of the Talmud, basically oral tradition of the so-called Jewish laws, the Jewish philosopher Maimonides in the Mishnah predicted that a new ritual would take place when the Messiah comes, and he will sacrifice the 10th red heifer. The most zealous supporters of the restoration of the temple in Jerusalem, they're united by the so-called Temple Institute. It's a radical Israeli organization, which once the American magazine The New Yorker dubbed it the Jewish Taliban. I wonder why the Americans aren't sanctioning the Temple Institute. Oh wait, America relies on radical, crazy Christian evangelicals in order to justify their support for Israel. American evangelicals are obsessed with the Old Testament prophecy, but for a different reason. They are sure that the end times are coming, and from their point, it's a wonderful thing. The end of the world means the second coming of Jesus Christ. Therefore, in their opinion, it should not be feared, but be brought forward by all means necessary. Many of them associate the end of the world with the same prophecy of the Messiah who will come after rebuilding the third temple. However, they interpret it in a different way. They believe that the Jewish Messiah who will sit in the temple in Jerusalem will be the Antichrist, and that his appearance will be followed by destructive wars that will bring destruction to people not just in Israel but also beyond. Basically anyone who isn't an evangelical Christian, because they consider themselves as true believers. These kind of satanic beliefs sound laughable, but they've had a big impact on American foreign policy for decades. It was because of that Donald Trump, when he was president, recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, in full accordance with the prophecy. My dear friends, we really need to take a step back and think about the potential consequences here. Trying to rebuild the temple in Jerusalem, especially with the current situation at the moment, it's incredibly risky. Americans should push for sanctions against anyone who calls for the rebuilding of the third temple, whether they be in America or Israel. Supporters of the temple's restoration, they openly admit that they want to get rid of Qubbat al-Sakra, the Dome of the Rock, and Masjid al-Aqsa, another Muslim holy site. And that's bound to provoke serious conflict with the Palestinians. But not just the Muslim Palestinians, but also Christians themselves as well in Palestine, because it will also affect the Christian sites out there. Let's be real, there's no divine intervention coming to save the day. Sacrificing red cows, who were genetically modified, by the way, to force the prophecy, won't magically bring in any Messiah, nor even a false Messiah. Neither will you see Jesus sucking people out of the earth and into the skies, which evangelicals also believe will happen too. They call it the rapture. This push for the third temple feels like it's paving the way for nothing but trouble. sparking further war and chaos in an already unstable Middle East. It's like playing with fire, and I can't shake this feeling that we're heading down a very, very dangerous path. Thanks for listening to the Independent Islamic Republic. Assalamu alaikum, shalom alaikum, over and out.